Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy, the Mad Guy, going up here today, guys. I thought I'd do a bit of an update, talk about what I've been playing, what I've been watching recently. One thing's turned up from eBay, and that is WrestleMania. I remember watching this film years ago on TV, probably on like the Horror Channel or something, back when I was living at home. I mean, this about 10 years ago. And I remember it being, you know, a fun film, and the dickheads decided, oh yeah, we'll put it in upside down. I remember it being not a great film by any means. But this is really interesting because the main villain, the maniac, the Lucha Libre maniac, is actually Rey Mysterio Sr. So yeah, it's I remember it being a bit not great, but I wanted to have this one in the collection. I don't know if it's got a Blu-ray release. I highly doubt it. This Revolution Entertainment, Revolver Entertainment, sorry. And I've got another one here which is from the same company. And the backgrounds are very similar, actually, the writing and the back blurb. But yeah, I'm looking forward to revisiting this one. I don't remember it being great. I remember it having some good gore at some points, but a wrestling themed horror movie. You never thought you would see that, wouldn't you? I'd like to see more sort of wrestlers doing horror movies. You know, there's a lot of big wrestlers out there. I mean, Kane with See No Evil was perfect for that. A lot of people say, you know, even a wrestler like Kane or The Undertaker or someone of that build would make a good, like, Jason or Michael Myers or something like that. You know, it'd make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? But yeah, I'm happy. I'm still waiting on 3 more things to turn up. And when they turn up, I'll probably show them off and stuff like that. I just thought I'd show 3 DVDs that I have watched in the past few weeks. First up, I watched Age of Dinosaurs. This movie was terrible. Really bad special effects. It was really quiet as well. That's one thing that really pisses me off about DVD releases, especially smaller DVD releases. There's no subtitles. How hard is it to put subtitles in your films? I don't know. You know, it's different when you go to the cinema because it's loud. But, you know, subtitles should be on your, you know, your... I know it's not down to the actual distributor of the movie. You know, they probably have to get like a third party subtitle company to do it. You know, I understand that. Maybe it costs money. I don't know. But this movie, it was basically like, it says on here, Die Hard in Jurassic Park. I see where they were going with it, you know, because it takes place mostly in like this building. But the dinosaurs are just terrible special effects. I mean, that dinosaur on the front looks better than what they do in the actual movie. You know, I like cheesy low budget movies as much as the next guy, but I couldn't recommend this one, really couldn't. Another one that I couldn't recommend was Armageddon America. It's also known as Armageddon, I suppose. It makes me laugh on here. It says, one badass finale, a slick action adventure, and guns galore. All of that is a lie. I mean, the ending, yeah, I get what they're saying. There is some, you know, guns and stuff, but it's essentially like, you know, this US gets hit with an EMP, and then there's this guy who's working with terrorists, and, you know, the army, this guy runs away to his family, and martial law and all of this, and he's got recordings, and they're after him. Other than the last, like, 15 minutes of this movie, I couldn't recommend this. Again, it was really quiet as well. The dialogue, boring. You know, this movie's just trying to capitalise on those sort of, not apocalypse movies, but it really is a complete and utter lie. I couldn't recommend this one either. Next one, DVD wise, that I watched was Are You Scared? Now, I wanted to check this one out for quite some time. At only 76 minutes, you know, this is basically like a reality show. The concept seems really cool, you know, like a reality show where people have to face their biggest fears or else they die. It sounds like a decent concept, you know. Unfortunately, this movie is just a complete rip-off of Saw. But not even a good one at that. You know what makes me laugh? You know, the detective story part of it. When I was watching the detective side of things of it, it felt like I was watching like Bones or Criminal Minds. You know, the way it was shot and everything was really reminiscent of one of those crime dramas, or you know what I mean. It was really weird. And what really annoyed me about this movie is half of the kills in it were like, half of them were like you hardly saw much, you know. It was like you see like the glimpse of it and then it just cuts away. It makes me laugh because, you know, Saw got away with it with limited cuts, you know, and unrated and stuff like this. But this one, like one girl gets killed by like the one that really was a Saw rip-off was the one with the guy who has like an explosive inside of him, and he said, I'm scared of waking up in surgery, you know, and he's like, I'm not going to cut myself open, he explodes. I'm like, well, that's completely ripped off of Saw, you know, the whole key in the in the lung, you know, in the kidney, like in Saw. And then the one with the drill, there, you know, you've got two people and they have to push the button to stop the drill from going into them. Again, that was a Saw rip-off. I mean, this came out in 2007, so I'm sure Saw was around at that time. I'm not sure what Saw movie we were on at that time. I want to say maybe 3 or 4. But yeah, it just really, you know, and the one with it's like, oh, a guy's scared of the dark, and he literally takes one, you know, he's in this room with all these shotguns in the dark attached to tripwires, and he literally takes one step and he gets shot to pieces. I'm like, at least in Saw, you know, the whole point of Saw was these people have to do these really dark and messed up trials, if you will. But there's a chance that there is a chance for them to survive. The trial is not designed to kill them. It's only designed to kill them if they don't get out of it. They're always, you know, that's the thing with Saw, you know, they always have a way to get out of it. And this one, it just seemed like everything that they were doing was dying. And the one that was really pissed me off was the one with the woman who had the guts hanging out and she had to put it in the rat cage. And I'm like, it shows it for the split second, cuts to something else, and it comes back and you find her dead on the floor. I'm like, what a cop-out. What an actual cop-out, you know. It's got the limited amount of gore in it, just as much as that they would have got away with to make it an 18. But it makes me laugh because Saw got away with a ton more than this movie did. Maybe they didn't have the budget, but I don't know. This one really pissed me off. There's a sequel to this one, because the movie does end on a, you know, a cliffhanger, if you will. Sets itself up for a sequel, which honestly, the sequel though is a bit more expensive. I've seen copies on eBay going for like 15 to 20 quid. I can't bring myself to spend 15 to 20 quid on one DVD. It's different if it's a box set or something like that. I'm going to keep an eye out for it. If I see it in like CEX or a charity shop for a decent price, I'll probably pick it up to check it out. But if anyone's interested in this one, let me know. Sell it at a decent price. This one's not too expensive. Probably sell it for a couple of quid. How much I paid for it? I think I paid about £5 for it. So, but you know, it has a cool concept, even though it is a rip-off of Saw. But I do like the concept of the whole reality TV, you know, red room type thing. And what also pissed me off is that you see the killer the entire time, or the mastermind, the entire time. At least in Saw, they sort of break it up. You know what I mean? Maybe they knew that they weren't going to have the budget to do like 10 movies like Saw. But yeah, so what else have I watched? I've watched a few other movies here and there. Last night I watched something really interesting. I'm going to watch the second part to it tonight because it's on Arrow, but it's on there leaving soon. So I thought, oh, I'm going to check out, might as well check out the second part tonight actually before it leaves. And that is the video Nasties. documentary. Originally they released it as although the actual DVD release with all 3 parts of it and a ton of special features, it's going for like 90 quid now, which is crazy. But if you've got Arrow subscription, part 1 and 2 of the documentaries on there, and it's really interesting. Basically, the video Nasties with this period in like the 70s and the 80s in the UK, where like there were 72 movies that were made that were classed as video nasties, and I'm talking about movies like Zombie Flesh Eaters, you know, Cannibal Holocaust, I Spit on Your Grave, Evil Dead, those sort of movies. They're really dark and violent movies. And it's crazy, this documentary sort of talks. I knew about the video nasties, but I didn't know. You know, it goes into depth quite well. You know, it shows it from both sides of the argument. You've got people that were, you've got film directors that were in this documentary. You've got people that were actually part of the group that were trying to stop this from happening. People that made it happen. It's really interesting, and essentially, these movies that come out, you know, Britain was essentially saying, you know, these movies are going to turn our kids into killers. And, you know, that wasn't the case, obviously, but the media was just going crazy, you know, and you had all these MPs and, you know, people that were trying to ban these movies. And it's really funny because, you know, it went through, they managed to get them banned. But about like 10, 12 years ago, you know, I think it was like the early 2000s, they actually found that the movie, this bill that they put forward, this law, you know, people were getting arrested for distributing these videos and making these VHSs and, you know, owning them, and video stores and fines, and it's crazy. And they actually found out that the bill that was meant to stop this from happening was never actually signed off, you know. So all of these people that were affected by it were basically falsely accused, you know. It's crazy, man. So I'm going to watch the second part tonight. But I like, you know, I like to, you know, I'm a big fan of like movies and movie history. I like reading books about movies and the history of movies and stuff like that. And it's really interesting. If you can check it out, they have released it on DVD, but I'd recommend maybe trying to find it. I think it's on YouTube as well, probably. But it's a really interesting documentary. It just shows, you know, Britain was crazy, and the way things are going with this cancel culture society that we live in. You know, all these old shows and movies, and people saying, oh, we have to censor them and ban them and take them off Netflix. And I'm not going to be surprised if we have another one of these video nasty situations. You know, but someone made a really fair point. Was it was this guy, I can't remember who it was, if he was a film director or someone that was against this bill, was basically saying, you know, Sky News was saying, oh, one of the Chucky movies or something like that was, oh yeah, it was that case where there was that, I can't remember the name of the person, but there was this kid who killed someone or something, I can't remember. And people were trying to, Sky News was basically saying to this guy, oh, it's because he watched Chucky. And he made a really funny comment. He's like, well, you do know that Sky Movies is showing that movie. And then they cut him off. I'm like, that's hilarious, you know. Talk about hypocrisy at its finest, you know. And it is crazy, you know. This is the thing. I like, you know, dark movies and stuff like that. But, you know, it's a movie at the end of the day. You have to suspend disbelief when you're watching movies, you know, because 90% of the things that happen in horror movies, you can tell they're fake anyway. There's a few movies out there that, you know, I think, again, with the 70s and the 80s, you know, with all these, you know, these Robert DiGiulio movies and I Spit on Your Grave, you know, because it was so, it was mainly violent, but the sex and the rape and all of this, you know, was crazy, you know, and because back then, especially the VHS era, a lot of it was low budget and you know, you couldn't really tell, you know, the quality, you know, you'd think, you know, maybe this is real. Whereas nowadays, when you watch movies like a Serbian film, for example, that movie is a massive controversial movie. But when you're watching, you know what you're watching is a movie. You know what you're watching is fake, because the quality in the camera and visuals is so much better. Whereas if you're watching, you know, grindhouse movies and older movies, you know, it's hard to really sort of, it's understandable back then, you know, today we know better, but back then you got to think to yourself how hard it would have been to really sort of describe and go, do you know what, is this real, is it not real? You know, nowadays, you know, when I watch like Are You Scared, I'm like, okay, this is completely fake, you know, you can just tell. But I like watching horror movies, I like watching gory movies, you know. I don't watch loads and loads and loads constantly, you know. I do believe that watching a lot of dark movies and horror movies can have a psychological impact on people, you know, that are impressionable, for sure. But at the same time, I think it's wrong to basically say that a movie or TV show or even a game or even a book sometimes can be responsible for someone going out and killing someone or doing other dishonorable and disgusting things in real life, because you can't blame a movie for that. You know, you can sit and watch a movie and go, this is fake. You know, I play games and I'm like, I don't want to do this. The biggest thing that everyone says to me, oh, you play violent games, you watch violent movies. I played Grand Theft Auto growing up, and I've not once gone out and stolen a car or gone and beaten up a prostitute or broken into someone's house. You know what I mean? But that was a rant over. But so what else? So what have I been playing? Mainly Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I keep saying Origins. But wow, I'm really enjoying Odyssey. You know, I've got all these quests that I'm meant to be doing. I'm like, no, screw that. I'm just going from island to island and exploring stuff. One thing I do like about this one is when you accept a quest, it will show where it is on the map. You know, so you don't have to go directly to it. But I'm really enjoying Odyssey. But yeah, so I'm having a good time with it. I might do a full review on it. Or possibly when I finish it and then play Valhalla, I'll do a retrospective of the 3 new Assassin's Creed reworked games, the remade, the rebooted, rehashed series, whatever you want to call it, the new trilogy. I think it's got an actual name for the new trilogy. I can't remember. I seen it on Facebook, on the Xbox store. They were selling it as a bundle and they called it a certain trilogy. I can't remember. But yeah, I think it's called the Mythology Trilogy because it's all based in different mythology. I don't know, but yeah. So I've not tomorrow. I've not got much to do in the rest of the week. I know Friday I've got a meeting on Friday. Saturday I've got to go to the hospital. Gonna have my ears checked. Been having a few issues with them lately, so gonna get it all checked out and see, you know. And then Sunday we're going down to my dad's, so from Sunday to Friday there probably won't be any videos next week, but I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be nice to get away, be in a different environment. I'm going to be we're going out for meals, and I'm going out with my friend, and we're just going to have a nice relaxing time. But at the same time, because of where I live at the moment, there's not really a lot of things around that isn't, you know, a lot of things around. But where my dad lives, there's parks, there's like 5 or 6 different parks in the area, there's lakes, there's places you can drive to, there's shopping centres, very nice place to live. So but I am looking forward to going down there and seeing my dad and my brother. It's just merely going to be my dad and my brother really, because my one of my older brother's in Canada, and my second youngest brother and his partner and his kid are away for 2 weeks. That's why we've gone down. But yeah, I just wanted to do a bit of an update. So I'm going to check that movie, that second part of that documentary. I think it's called the Video Nasties. Just type in Video Nasties documentary, and you'll probably find it, either a DVD of it, or you know, you watch it on Arrow before it gets taken down, before it leaves. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, feel free to leave a like and comment below. Let me know if you've seen any of these movies that I've shown. Let me know what you think of the video Nasties. Let me know your history, your country's history with the whole censorship. You know, either as it is now or how it was in the past. Do you think cancel culture and this movie censorship and TV show censorship is a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I'm against it for sure. I'll do a full video talking about that one day. And as always, guys, subscribe if you haven't already. Join me, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Mad Kiger, and have a nice day. Probably do some more videos before I go away, but as always, see you next time.